The team at The Grout Guy are leading experts in regrouting, waterproofing, and tiling services nationwide. Property managers find comfort in their 10-year waterproof warranty on all full shower regrouts. Visit thegroutguy.com.au to rejuvenate your property's tiles and grout now. Today is a nice quick podcast, and it's all about capacity in your business. And I was speaking to someone from StaffLink the other day, and he was going through a management report for me, and he was sort of going through all the stats and all the numbers that I should know of in business. And I turned to him and said, listen, the only number I care about is the capacity in my property management department. How many more properties can we handle with existing staff? And when am I going to need to start advertising for a new team member? And genuinely, like after 20 years in business, that is the only number that I'm really motivated by and really care about. I probably should take it a little bit more serious, my numbers, and I am working on that. So for those that are there saying, you shouldn't be like that, I am working on it, and I'm going to try and get better at knowing my numbers. But the truth is, I actually don't really care. Like, our business goes well. I'm not motivated by that number. So, but I am motivated by the capacity in our team. And that's a really good way of just making sure that you're planning for the future, because I'm very big on always being one step ahead. So at any time, if anyone in my team was to leave, I already know what that next step is. And I got interviewed not long ago by someone that said, how do you deal with curveballs that happen in business, like things that is thrown at you trying to get you down? And I genuinely had said to her, I actually don't really get any curveballs, because I'm always trying to be one step ahead, always knowing what my next move is going to be. No matter which team member in my property management department leaves, I know what my next step is. So I'm never like surprised or worried or stressed if that was to happen, because I already know what to do next. I think that's something that a lot of people don't do. They sort of, bury their head in the sand, not wanting to think about what if this happens. But that's just the way my mind works. And it's something really to consider if you are someone who is responsible for employing in your office. So the capacity is a really great one. So having a look and saying, okay, we have got capacity using existing staff to take on 70 more properties. So what that means is maybe when you get to 50, you might start advertising for a new property manager at that time to allow a little bit of a buffer to get a new person. And then what I would also go on to say is that if staffing is an issue, and it is an issue all around Australia, and it will continue to be an issue, the next thing that you should start considering is, what efficiencies can you put in place? What technology can you put in place to allow that higher capacity in your team? For example, if you were to get this app or this program, could your team manage another 50 properties in the department? So therefore delaying that need for a staff member. Maybe it is offshore support, which I highly recommend that every agency has. I like to use the Associates & Co. They're a great business, can really offer you a bespoke VA to support you. You can just literally let the team know at Associates & Co. What duties you need someone to do, and they will find someone that will match that role as well. So really highly recommend, if you don't have a VA, reach out to them and get one sorted, because that's a big game changer in the business. So, but making sure you're reviewing your technology so that your technology is allowing a high capacity of properties in your department, which reduces the need to bring on a team member sooner than you thought. So that will help alleviate any employment stress that you might be having in your business. Something to consider. Of course, there's going to be times where you have no option, but you need someone right now. I need a physical person. There's lots of options like outsourcing, using Property Assist. They are great to give your team a break. If you are struggling to find someone in your a new property manager, and you literally are like one man down, then just jump on to Shannon at the Property Assist and get her to help with all your home opens, your routine inspections, your finals, your ingoings. It is going to make such a big difference in your team and give your team that little buffer to help you find that next person and not put them under any stress. Because unfortunately, as horrible as this may sound, staffing is a business owner's problem, not your property management team's problem. So you need to make sure as a business owner that you have you're giving your team that support during any of those times. So I'm a big believer of that. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is making sure that as a business owner or as a department head, that if the worst case scenario was to happen and all of your team were to not be at the office and you lost all your team, I know that would never happen, but let's just use that as like a worst case scenario because it is. And it's a thought that went through my head during COVID. What if like all the team were out of action and couldn't work? My role is to make sure that I can manage the whole portfolio despite the size, whether it's 500, 1,000, 2,000. I need to make sure that I can handle it and tick it over. Of course, I'm not going to be able to do it as well or as quick as having a team, but could I tick it over enough to allow a buffer for that team to, for us to get a new team member? And so I've probably sort of worded it a little bit wordy, but like I guess that's just something that I think about. How long could I manage my portfolio with no staff on my own? Now, for me, with 1,000 properties, just over 1,000 properties, I give myself like 6 months of managing it without anyone. Yes, it would be horrible. Yes, I'd be doing extra hours. Yes, it would be an absolute nightmare. But I could do it because I trust the technology that we've got. We've got a great offshore team, and I think that I could do it for maybe 4 to 6 months before I had a mental breakdown. And that is sort of something that I gauge and something that I make sure that as a business owner, that's my responsibility to make sure that I can look after the department and it can run in a way that if I had to manage it myself for a short term, I could. And that's just something that goes through my head. So this is like a little podcast about what goes through Ash's head when it comes to staffing, replacing, employment, capacity. That's exactly what I think of every day. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an insight, gives you something to think about. If you are struggling with finding a new staff member, maybe start looking at other parts of your business that can be improved and eliminate the need to bring that staff member in as soon as what you thought. So just a thought. Feel free to reach out if you've got any questions on this topic. Love to chat to you about it. Property Assist understand that business owners are rapidly expanding their rental portfolios and property managers simply can't handle everything on their own. Property Assist are now offering outsourcing in Western Australia, New South Wales, South Australia and Queensland, and can help your team with all their ingoing reports, outgoing final bond inspections, routine inspections, 360 tours, home opens and inventory reports. Find them on your socials.